Joining me now, though, is Senate Majority Leader John Thune. Senator, Majority Leader, thank you for being with us here today. I'd love to walk through some of these sticking points on the big, beautiful bill in the Senate. Let's start with cuts. There are those in the House that suggest if the Senate doesn't make the bill better, if they don't find more to cut in spending, then once it goes back to the House, it won't have their support. And they do point to Medicaid as a place to find those cuts.
And that's what we're trying to do, Will. I mean, we would like to be able to find spending reductions over and above what the House did. That work is underway. We want to make this as ambitious and aggressive of an effort as possible to rein in the cost of government, to put a lot of these programs on a more sustainable fiscal path going forward, and to achieve what I think a lot of people never thought was possible, and that is actually seeing a reduction in the size and scope of government. That's something that hasn't happened in about 3 decades here. This will be the biggest spending reduction in mandatory spending in history. And so we're working to that end.
We've talked about for example, the Medicaid provider tax. It seems like a right place where cuts could be found. But you have people like Senator Josh Hawley, Republican, who are saying, no, I do not want to see any cuts to Medicaid. How do you get Republicans on the same page?
We're working on it, and I think, the provider tax is a good example of something that's been abused, and it's been abused particularly by big states like New York and California. It is a racket. I mean, they figured out how to game it. They leverage it to get more federal money, and in the case of California, to cover illegal immigrants. And so that's obviously something that's front and center. The House made a good effort at that and is trying to pare back the use of provider taxes and the way that they've been gamed and used in the past, and the Senate's trying to build upon that. But obviously, it's an issue that we need to have 51 votes for in the Senate, and they need to keep 218 for in the House. So every senator we're listening to. But at the end of the day, this is a program that's ripe for reform. The things that we're doing are going to strengthen it, improve it, and make it available to people for whom it was intended. It shouldn't be available for illegal immigrants. There are people who are ineligible. There are people, able-bodied males, who are of working age. There ought to be a work requirement attached to it. These are all reforms to a program that was desperately in need of reform.
Well, I don't know how you get everybody on the same page, Majority Leader. That's why your job is difficult, though, because right now it's Republicans that all seem to have different views on this, including with SALT, state and local tax deductions. For people that don't live in California or New York, it is hard to understand why we would subsidize someone in those states having less to pay on their federal tax dollars. But you do have Republican congressmen like Mike Lawler, who we have here, as we just quoted, said, I'll be a no if you do away with SALT.
Well, look, the SALT was one of the best reforms we did. I was a part of authoring the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, and it was a reform that not only saved about $1.2 trillion, but it got us out of the practice of having low-tax states subsidize high-tax states. And so there isn't much interest in the Senate in going back on that. Now, having said that, they need the votes in the House. We understand that, and we're looking at ways that we can adjust and dial those provisions that hopefully will be able to keep the votes together in the House, but also do something to dial back the impact of this. It was $353 billion is what they agreed on in the House. And you divide that, of course, by the number of members of Congress who care about that issue in the House, it gets to be a pretty high number. And there just isn't interest in doing this in the Senate. So that's an issue that we're going to have to continue to work.
Unfortunately, I have less than 30 seconds left in my show, Majority Leader. But will you be looking at Medicare?
We're having those conversations. If it's waste, fraud, and abuse, we're looking for waste, fraud, and abuse in every area of government. And so right now, that's the work that we've undertaken, and we got about a week to get it done.
All right. Well, good luck getting everybody on the same page, Majority Leader. Thank you for being with us here today.
Thanks, Will. You bet. Good to see you.
Right. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.